What's up? My name is Jarrell. I am a singer-songwriter. I have been on 4 Grammy award-winning projects. But outside of music, I also work in unscripted television as a producer. Today, I have a great honor to have 3 Black unscripted television producer and executive producers. And we are here to talk about unscripted from the perspective of the Black experience. So welcome my guests, please. We have Brandy Harris, we have Jason Elmore, and we have Carlton Jordan. Hey. Round of applause for y'all.
We all in the same room.
It's crazy.
I know.
Crazy.
So we all have actually worked on a show together, all of us, which was Sweet Life, Issa Rae's Sweet Life. I think I knew you before, Carlton, before I worked on the show, but that show was how I got introduced to both Brandy and Elmore. So shout out to Issa, you know what I mean?
Shout out
to Issa.
The Hooray crew.
Yes, bring Sweet Life back.
Bring us back.
Yes, bring Sweet Life back, please. A great show.
Everyone's like, when's it coming back? I'm like, dang, how many years has it been?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like 40 now.
And people still want it. People still talking about it. So Black History Month often looks backwards, but tonight we're going to be documenting and talk about Black history as it happens presently in the rooms that people never get to see. Because again, we work behind the scenes, behind the camera. So we're going to start by asking each of you what your first job in TV was.
Oh my God.
My first job was the Dr. Phil show.
Really?
Yes, the Dr. Phil show. I was still in my senior year in college. I was just about to graduate. I was transcribing, which is literally just putting headphones on, listening, and typing what you see.
Yeah.
And then I moved my way upstairs to be an assistant. But that was my first job, and it was the one that almost scared me away. And
The first one normally is.
Yeah, it almost scared me away. But I just kept pushing, and it worked out.
All right, Elmore, what was your first job in TV?
Man, my first job in TV was on a BET game show called Pay It Off, where you
That sounds like a BET special.
where you answer trivia questions to pay off your dets.
Oh my God.
I need to bring that back right now, dude. Let me be a contestant.
That was the first show. You know what's crazy is my pops is gonna be mad at me for saying this, but I was playing college football, and my pops was dating a girl that he met off BlackPlanet.com.
Black Planet.
He was on BlackPlanet.com, met a woman. They were together for a minute, and she was a producer on the show.
Now, what was your daddy doing on Black Planet?
Everybody was on Black Planet. You too young to be on Black Planet.
You was
I had a
too young
Black
for
Planet. I had a Black Planet page.
You shouldn't have been on
It was a bunch of like cartoons and stuff on there, but I had a Black Planet
Questioning
page.
his daddy. What was you doing on that?
Right.
He was a grown man.
But yeah, he was like, I got a son who wants to be in TV and film. You know, can you put him on? And she was like, yeah. And so I got my first little credit card and flew out to Atlanta over the summer. My coaches was not happy, and I worked on that show for 3 months. And instead of scaring me away, it made me want to do it more. And so the experience was insane. It was my first show ever. I was a production assistant / driver. But every day I was driving executives and the director to and from set, so I got to know them. They started talking to me more, giving me more responsibility. And so I went from it was my first time, but I became a key PA over that span of the series, and then worked on a couple other things at Turner Studios, Turner Broadcasting. They had some CNN specials going on and some NBA TV. So I kind of hung around there a little bit and really got to do a lot of stuff. And after that, came back, quit the football team, left my D1 scholarship, and worked construction so I could afford to go to film school.
Oh, wow.
So you mentioned that you were a key PA. So for anyone who doesn't know, a PA is a production assistant, and that's kind of really the ground floor if you want to work in TV.
Yeah,
generally, most people start as a PA. You're the person getting coffee, doing all the stuff that nobody else is going to do or wants to do, you know, but that also gives you a chance to figure out the landscape and get to see a little bit of what everybody does. So I think it's really important that people, don't just jump in the pool,
You can tell when people jumped and went from just coming in the industry like past the PA is so obvious.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
By the way, they talk to PAs. By the way, they handle PAs. Yes.
Yeah.
But what was your first TV gig, Carlton?
Oh my God. My junior year in college, I got an internship at MTV West Coast. So I interned there, and then I went back to school to graduate. And then when I came back, everybody acted like they didn't know who I was, because you're supposed to like do your internship and go right into work. So I finally worked my way into the building, and there was the Pussycat Dolls had a reality show that never came out. It was before they were the music group. They were just like a burlesque group of women that would do cover songs around LA. So MTV gave them a reality show. We shot the whole season, and then they got a record deal, and they killed the show because we couldn't afford the music for the show. So that was my first gig and my first like disappointment, where you like, and I was just like you were doing, I was transcribing footage, and that was usually the entry point in reality back then, where you could be a logger or a transcriber, and you just listen to the footage and you just literally like just transcribe what they're saying for the editors. And you would create this like big like book and highlight like the things that people are saying, like this is what I think is good, in the footage. Now you just do it on, digitally. But yeah, that was my first gig. The Pussycat Dolls reality show.
That's fire, though.
Yeah.
I think when I was on Sweet Life, I was an AP. Right. So my first job in TV was as a casting producer for The Voice. And I was a bit disillusioned because I would find such talented people and they weren't getting through. Or, if once they got on the show, they got put out very early. And I felt like they were so talented, but just severely overlooked. It was like, come on, man. Like these people can sing, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I came to the realization that this is a TV show first. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so even if you can sing, if you don't have no story.
Yeah, story.
You gotta have
my department.
You gotta have some story, you know? So tell me, anybody can take this. Tell me, what do you think the general public, what do most people get wrong about what unscripted is, what reality is?
Like as far as working in it or like watching it?
Watching it.
Okay. I think as a Black community, we need to accept that it's a part of our entertainment like cycle and world and life. I think what most people get wrong is they look at it as trash TV and not like the art that it is. So I think people look at it as something that is easily done or could be thrown together. And you see a lot of people attempting to recreate like a developed and a reality or unscripted TV show and fail because they're used to just looking at the finished result, so they just shoot the finished result. I think what people get wrong about our work is how much behind the scenes work goes into shooting an unscripted show to get the end result that you see on TV. So I think people think it's just easy.
Listen,
I agree. I definitely think people, they hear unscripted and they're like, oh, no, it's scripted. I think people just automatically assume that we're back there writing scripts. And it's like, no, we're literally following people with big personalities, interesting people, crazy people sometimes, and we're following their lives. And then you have to figure out how to put an episode together to make it make sense. So it's not easy, and it actually is not scripted. I think that's one thing is people just always assume, oh, this is fake, this is fake. No, these are real people, and they make their own minds up. We might have an idea of what we would love, that would be entertaining, but normally the best stuff happens when they're just being themselves, and then we have to figure out, okay, what's next to make it make sense.
Yeah, because I done had Brandy call me at 1 a.m. and be like, now look, such and such done said they ain't doing this, and we got to figure out what we're going to do. We got to figure out what I'm like, all right, let me get up.
Yeah.
So being an unscripted, how has the career path sort of come together for you guys? Anybody can take this. Was there a roadmap, or if there wasn't, how did you create it? Did you just kind of stumble along and just land, or what did that look like, the roadmap to being an executive? Everybody looking at you, Omar.
I mean, for me, I never really wanted to do reality TV. I liked food and travel television, which I think definitely falls under unscripted, but not what we think of when we say reality. You know about my first job, but after that, I went to film school, and I honestly don't think I needed film school at all. Like, as much as a lot of people spend their money and want to be filmmakers, like, the amount of money you spend in film school, you could spend in gear and equipment and take some YouTube courses and really, really make things happen. I mean, and for me, what really was a big thing was the internships. Like, and I got internships without the help of school advisors or anything, but I ended up working for a local news station, shout out NBC 10 in Philadelphia, and also for a hot second, Fox 29. And then I also worked at this show called Restaurant Impossible, a production company under Mark Summers. And Mark Summers from Double Dare, I don't know if anybody remembers that. But like, he was like an early mentor for me, where I met him.
That was before my generation. Double what?
I met him, and he gave me opportunities, and I worked my way up at that show. I did 8 seasons of Restaurant Impossible. From a intern to office assistant to production assistant to production coordinator to AP, and then left as a producer. So I really grinded on that show, and there was a company that it was a co-pro for that also did a ton of commercials and political ads and like renovation shows. And so when Restaurant Impossible wasn't shooting, I was also doing those. So
what kind of political ads?
Every kind of political ad.
Political ads for who?
There was political ads for both sides, for sure. Both sides. Which was hella awkward because I was already the token or the only. When you're doing this like hardcore Republican in Central Pennsylvania, there's some looks you get and some interesting conversations that are had. But yeah, I mean, I for me, it literally was ground floor and working my way up, and from, not to go too insular on my career, but like that was all in Philadelphia and a little in New York, little in Atlanta. But when I moved to LA was when things for me really started popping. Like, I actually took a step down and went from producer to AP to move to LA for a talk show. But after that, my career really skyrocketed and moved a lot faster than I think normal people's career moved, because I had that East Coast work ethic. That, no disrespect to LA, but we move differently. We move differently.
We feel disrespected.
I was like, you should start with
that. East Coast, New York, Boston, DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, hustle, a lot of the shows.
I always hear about New York hustle. I don't never hear about the Philly hustle.
Anyway, it helped me. It helped me. So when I was on shows and people weren't putting in the work, because it showed. It showed, and I was able to move up. And I literally just climbed the same ladder from producer to supervising producer to co-EP to showrunner or EP. Like, I just climbed the basic ladder that not everybody, let me say that. I just climbed the basic ladder that we all know, but a lot of people don't have to climb.
Everybody ain't able.
There was no nepotism for me other than getting my very first job. And when I got that very first PA job from BlackPlanet.com, I then took 3 years and went to film school. I started fresh on my own with internships, and I was like PAing for the parking lot and on movies, like Silver Lining Playbook. And there was another movie with Colin Farrell that shot in Philly, and I was like the parking PA to make sure people didn't park in people's spots. Like, that's how we started. So, I don't have no lightning in a bottle. It really was just the grind.
Well, I'll tell my story. So I'm from Los Angeles, born, but actually, raised in the IE. Shout out to the IE. But out here, I feel like, for one, LA people get a bad rap because a lot of people in our industry are like, oh yeah, I'm from LA, but they're not actually born and raised out here. They, they come from other places. They're here for 5-10 years, and it's like, oh, we go hiking, we eat kale all the time. This and that. No, people that's really from here, we're normal. We're
That's
normal.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I feel like when I first started right out of college, right after Dr. Phil, I was there for a long time. I was a long time for me at a young age. I was there for about 4 years. Some crazy stuff happened there, and I had to leave. I went over to the Tyra Banks show. My goal always was to, I wanted to write. I wanted to be a, screenwriter. I wanted to get into directing music videos. Like, I just had, like, a lot of plans, which I still have a lot of plans, but it kind of detoured for me. So after Talk, I had a cousin that was an AD on a HBO show and got me in as a PA. So that was a form of nepotism, but the difference was I couldn't use my last name because we had the same last name, and he was the only Black person on the set. And so when I came in, my last name had to be my mother's last name because they, it's okay for everybody else to just bring their people in. But, we had to be very careful. Oh, so how do you know him? Oh, yeah, this and that. Yeah. So we just had to fake like we weren't cousins. And I worked on this really big HBO show for a couple of years where I was just trying to get in. Like I wanted to get in with the director to be a second AD or this and that, but I just could not break in. It was like maybe 3 years. I was mostly in the background most of the time because they didn't have enough Black extras. So I would get double paycheck. I would get my PA paycheck and I would get this for just sitting in the back and doing all of that. And then I happened to meet a AD, which was a white woman who actually it was something like she just always would come and check on me and ask me questions and this and that. And so she started taking me on projects, and that's how I ended up in reality. She just took me somewhere, introduced me to a director. He was like, my girlfriend works, at this production company. Do you want to do reality? It's called Dance Moms. And I'm like, okay, I'll go over there. And from there, I literally went from PA to coordinator to production manager. It wasn't quick. I was training a lot of people that were coming in. Oh, Brandy, we want you to train this person. And then they would end up being my boss. Happened 3 times. So yeah, I started from the bottom, and it was just like, I went from production, and then I met my first unicorn, which was a Black female showrunner, which I had never seen before. Yeah. She walked in, and I was just like, and I'm a production manager who wanted to be a producer on the creative side. Yeah. And I was just like, this is the way. This is how I'm going to get in there. And I was grinding. I was like trying to do all kind of stuff to just make sure she saw me. And she saw me. And I would ask, could I sit in the meetings with the producers, even though I'm supposed to be doing logistics and things like that. And Leola Westbrook, gave Leola. Shout out to Leola. She actually saved my job also on that one because this was my first production manager job. And at that time, there wasn't any Black production managers that I knew of. So it was a really big deal. Funny story is I hired, as a production manager, a lot of times you hire the crew and everything like that. I hired a lot of people who look like us. Yeah. And the person that I was working for at the time came to set one day and was like, what's going on? And I'm like, what's the problem? I'm like, I ran all these resumes by you. Yeah. Everyone was qualified. I'm sorry they didn't have a picture on it. Yeah. Mind you, this person didn't look like us. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, what is the network going to think when they come? So that was a lesson to me. Like, you got to be careful how you go about it because it's not a lot of us that are able to get each other in. Yeah. But it's just a way to go about it. I guess I went overboard. You was like, it's gonna be blackity black. Yeah, I was like, and we were thriving. Yeah. But hey, but it definitely put something in my head where I was like, I have to keep going so this can become a normal in some type of way. Yeah. And that's how I ended over as a producer. Was because I told her, I don't want to be a line producer. I want to create TV. I want to be a creative. And then she pulled me over. I started like as a talent wrangler, and I just kind of worked my way up.
Hey, I want you to talk a little bit more about that because I don't think people know the difference between the production side and the producer side. What's the difference? You said you transferred over, but what does that mean?
So the production side, like as a production manager, you are in charge of the schedule. You are working with a budget with the line producer, who is really the money person. You are in charge of feeding everybody, making sure it's on time, the equipment. It's more of the logistical side. It's no, you really don't get to touch any creative whatsoever. But it's a really important role. If you have a really strong PM, you're gonna be good. And I give, like, even once I moved over to producers, I was like, first of all, I have to try and stay in my lane and not be all up in their stuff, because it's just by nature. But it's
we can
very,
move some of this money from here.
Right.
Money from here, put it there. Yes.
Taking over that schedule, like, don't worry about it.
Yes, but I do think that it's one of the reasons why I've been able to be successful, is because I can do both. You know, because a lot of producers, they don't budget, they don't understand the budget. You know, if lunch is maybe running late, they're like, why? There's so many crazy things that can happen in a day. So I just think it's good to have a balance of both.
Yeah, and so the producer side is the creative.
The creative side, that's when you're working with the talent. That's where you're doing the story, you're putting the episodes together. Talent management, one of the biggest parts of our job. Wrangling, yes.
That is a job.
It is a job all in itself.
So I want to jump into the blackness of it all. Being in these spaces, they're generally predominantly white, with some exceptions. How do you guys navigate being the only, like you said, the only, without necessarily becoming the spokesperson? Or is it important to be the spokesperson?
I mean, at this stage in my career as an EP, I make sure I'm not the only through my hiring like practices.
Yes.
And they can feel how they feel about it. You know, they got to say the words to me.
Yeah.
Well, is it too black for you? Is it too black? Is that why you're like gagging on the Zoom call? I a funny story. I worked on this Hallmark series and they're like super white, you know. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck their heads up with this Zoom. So I had my hoodie on. I was sitting there like the Zoom came on. They're like, hi, everyone. Say hi. And just like, Carlton, you want to speak? I was like, oh, hi, yeah, I'm Carlton. I'm the EP. Thanks for bringing me on. Everyone's like, oh, you're Carlton. I was like, yeah, I just wanted to, you know. I just wanted you to see me in my full blackness. And so you just know this is what you're going to get. I just like to see the surprise faces.
You got to set the precedent.
Especially, like you dealing with a black man on this project, you know. But no, I think being the only one early was hard because you do become a spokesperson whether you want to or not. But you also, nowadays, I don't put that burden on myself either. You know, if there's something I don't like if there's like a black cast member that I don't like the way their portrayal is, I just speak up about it, but I do the same if it's a white cast member, whatever. And recently I was working on this show and one of the execs, they were like, oh, we don't think this cast member, like, she's not giving us like
sister girl.
Yeah, that's not what they said, but I know that's what they were getting at. They were like, she's a little muted than we want. We want like a bigger blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you've never said that about any of the white characters who give you less energy. So I was like, no, I don't want to create a stereotype. I don't want her to be like this loud, laughing, like, you know, person. So I think that how we portray her is going to be very like important to our audience. And I think if they see a stereotype, you're going to take that audience away. They can see that anywhere.
A mile away.
Yeah, and they're, you know, you just got to say the thing so they won't bring it up again. You know? Yeah. And they'll try to bring it up in other ways, like, oh, well, we just, you know, whatever they're, you know.
Creative language.
They'll use creative language to get to like the stereotypes they want to see in a lot of black people. And so for that, I don't mind being a spokesperson. When I was on March, the marching band show, and they set up CW March, we had, we had our dancing dolls type, you know, girls on the squad, and they would just film them like right after practice in the interview with no hair or makeup. They're like, oh, they're just college kids. I'm like, you're talking about black women who have just gone through an entire practice, and you're not going to doll them up for an interview because you want it to feel natural. I'm like, that's not. I was like, no, we need like a hair and makeup budget so when they sit down, they're broke college kids. They don't have time. They don't know what beauty for TV is, and I don't want them to play themselves on camera.
Yeah,
because
now
I
ain't the
know
time for
that's
OTS.
not. Yeah, yeah, I know that's not how they want to look on TV.
Yeah.
So stuff like that is important. Being the black person in the room is important. But other than that, it's just it does become like a cultural sort of like. When I first started working here, this is like early 2000, it was a cultural shock to be the only black person on a project or a room, especially on projects that were geared towards black people. It was shocking and surprising to me. So it's really, and this is why I said what I said earlier, we need black creatives to look at Unscripted as a career so we can train them to take over the spots that we vacate, And I think a lot of black creatives look at Unscripted as like an asterisk or, a piece of something, but they're like high level creatives and producers. They're not hiring the team and the squad and the staff. So we need more people in the Unscripted engine that look like us that can like continue populating these crews and teams with a diverse talent, because at the end of the day, you still got to be able to do the job if I hire you. Like during the writer's strike, people, writers and producers call me, oh, can I just produce a reality show with you? You don't even know what that means,
You don't know, baby D. That's why you're looking at me like that.
It's not easy.
What about you guys, about being the only, or just fighting for authenticity when it comes to black story? That was a big one. That was a big sigh.
It's a lot of trauma.
It's not easy. It's not easy because I think that a lot of times we are made into characters instead of, really being open to the fact that all black women are not the same. All black men are not the same. I think they like to typecast us. And so when you have I've worked on shows with all black women, they all have different personalities, and I love to work on those shows where you can see the variations of who we are. And it's hard when we don't have the say-so. A lot of us might be put in a place where we might be the only for that reason, like, okay, well, let us know if that's too much or, things like that. And it's like, yeah, you are put in a position where you have to speak up for and be the representative of us all. Whereas if it's the other way around, it's like, to me, this is just my opinion, you guys let me know, I feel like it's easier for us to go and produce a white show than it is for a black producer to come and produce a black show. We live in a world where we go by the rules of the majority and who's in power. We have to, we change our voice when we're on the phones and this and that.
Code switching?
We code switch. We have to do this basically to survive and to try to thrive sometimes. So it's easy for me to go to a show with an all-white cast and they might look at me and feel like, she doesn't know. No, I live in your world. I play by your rules. So, and it's easier than you to come into our world, because then it's like okay, well, I don't know what to say, this and that. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you get producers that are scared to talk to the talent because they're
Yes.
black.
Yeah.
You're like, I've never been scared to talk to a non-black talent.
Yeah,
never.
Or they just,
I mean, it really shows how a lot of non-minorities don't know minority culture. It really gets exacerbated in these shows. I mean, when you are asked to do certain things that would never happen in the black community. And when people are afraid to talk to, it happens all the time. It's like, well, can you talk to them? And it's really where you brought up a good point where it's like talking about different ethnicities doing jobs with casts that are primarily one ethnicity or the other. It's also hard, sometimes being a black person can get you a job because it's an all-white crew and producers, and they need the black person. So I've gotten jobs that way. Yeah. It's like, thank the Lord I actually benefited from being black. So I'm not mad at that. Yeah. But there's also the negative side of that where sometimes you get typecast where you only do black shows. Yeah. And your creative genius or your skill set is not looked at as valuable outside the realm of Black television. And I love doing shows with Black people. I love telling our stories in different capacities, but that doesn't mean I'm limited to only that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like I can also do, I've been fortunate to do other shows. I can do a show like, 20 somethings where there was Black cast members, but it's, 20 something year olds living in Austin, Texas. That's not a very Black show. Or I just did a show for Bravo, the Valley Persian style, where it's a full Persian community and Armenian. And it's like, like any good producer should do, I learn about that culture. I do my homework, and that makes me a good producer. I feel like a lot of times Black producers get typecast and pigeonholed from a career to only do Black television. There's companies I have done 3, 4, 5 shows for them. They're all only Black shows, and they have a full slate of other shows that they don't call me for.
Yeah, they put you in the urban department.
Yeah, they like to call it urban. That shit, it pisses me off because it's like, if I can do this show here, I can do this show there. And you make a very valid point. It's like, unfortunately, people who aren't minorities don't always do their homework and learn about other cultures, where we live in a white world. And so we are capable of doing shows with white talent. We talk to white people every day. We live in their city, their government. Like it's not challenging for us to do that. But a lot of times our skill sets aren't valued outside of Black areas. And it gets to feel frustrating because sometimes you're like, as much as I love getting this job, am I only here so you can feel good that you got one Black person on your set when the whole cast is Black?
Yeah.
And also I think there's a thing about just Black shows versus white shows, or, like working on Basketball Wives. Like I'm just as proud of Basketball Wives as I would be of The Valley. You know what I mean? Like there is sort of a stigma that comes with those types of shows, but all these people everywhere are crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just reality. You know what I mean? And I have no shame, or like I'm not embarrassed to work on, a Basketball Wives or a show for BET, or I don't care if it was Zeus or Now That's TV. You know what I mean? Now. I've never worked for those companies, but Lemuel's from Detroit, so shout out to him. You know?
I've worked for L Plumber before.
Really? How was that?
Not on when Zeus. It was when BET was doing the Westbrooks reality show, which was sending them out, like the Westbrook sisters, India, Love, and all of them. So I worked for that show, and that was it. That was the last time we worked together.
And that was it. All right. Moving on.
But no, I think our community also is a part of the stigmatization. I think, I think on social media and then like the public sort of viewpoint in the Black community is, reality TV is like a bad representation of what it means to be a Black person in America or in the world. And I don't think they give that judgment to the other unscripted shows, which I think is really unfair. But we do, there's always this like, so when we did Sweet Life, right? And I was a consultant producer on that really early on, working with Leola and HBO and Issa to figure out what the show is. And, there was a mandate like, I don't want no mess, I don't want no drama, no fighting. And I had to be like, but in the scripted space, like Insecure is messy as hell.
Right.
And people love it. They love the friends not getting along and the boyfriends and the lovers. I was like, they expect the same thing in Unscripted. Like,
gotta have some stakes.
You gotta have some stakes. So I was like, don't think of it as messy or a bad representation because it feels really real, and it is real. But think of it as like any piece of show or art like you would have in Unscripted. You want those same stakes and excitement and conflict that you would have in Unscripted.
Right.
So that kind of like shifted. This isn't a documentary, and Max definitely didn't want a documentary about Black kids living in South LA. They wanted the hills, the Laguna Beach, they wanted it to feel very elevated, but they liked the soap. sort of aspect of it. But
That's real. All right, we're gonna pivot. I got a game for you guys.
okay.
Y'all ready?
Oh no.
A game.
Okay.
Red flag, green
Okay,
flag.
this is
All right,
easy
y'all
game.
ready? Y'all ready? This is gonna
I
be
was
good.
like, I'm
Everybody
so
gets a
not
red flag.
competitive.
Everybody gets a green
I was
flag.
like, oh, y'all gonna win.
No, I just
Thank you.
wait. Okay.
I'm just practicing.
All right, so y'all ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna list some statements, and I want y'all to tell me if it's a red flag or a green flag. All right, it's
the red
all
means bad.
red means bad.
Okay.
Red flag, green means good.
This is why I'm single. Wait, is red a bad thing?
What, is a red flag really a bad thing?
Or are you just trying to get my attention?
All right, so here we go. Red flag, green flag. Working for free for exposure. Red flag or green flag?
It depends on where you are in your career. If you're just getting in,
Okay.
if you've been in,
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, double.
All right. Saying yes to every job your first 2 years. Red flag or green flag? Green flag, just say yes to everything.
You gotta get in
Gotta
where
get
you fit
in
in.
there.
Like,
Yeah.
there's not enough opportunities for you to be picky early in your career.
Especially right now.
And it's the people you meet. It's
yeah,
like
even
you
even
meet-
back in the day,
Back
like
in
it's
the
just
day.
like get in and meet people, become likable,
Become likable.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
some people are not likable,
That's a very valid point. If we're just to take a moment to talk to people that do want to do anything entertainment, being likable is huge.
Huge.
It is.
I grew up where my parents were like, do the work and put your head down. Do the work, put your head
Yeah.
down. Don't be outspoken. Don't, cause any ruckus. And I did the work for a long time and didn't get noticed. It wasn't until I start having that drink with somebody or going to that movie or hanging out with the crew that things started to move for me. And I think that is such a important piece to this whole entertainment thing is you do have to be likable. You do have to be approachable. You do have to talk to people and get to know people because those are the people that will hire you on the next job.
Yes.
So 5 years from now, you'll get a job from somebody you PA'd with, and y'all drove a van for 4 hours and it was hot with no AC. Like,
Absolutely.
it's a crucial part
very
to
specific.
growing that. It took me a long time to understand.
Yeah, we spend so much time with each other. We
Together,
work 6 days a week. We work 12 hours a day.
Yes.
You want to be
Minimum.
around minimum. Do you want to
minimum.
be around someone you don't like?
Yeah.
You
So the
might
attitude-
be better at the job, but this person's likable and I can kind of teach them. I want them to come over because
Yeah.
at least, we got to be around each other. It's a thing.
That's
yeah,
real.
I try to, sometimes you got to remember we've been working so hard for so long. You're like, oh shit, I'm the boss. Like I set the tone, like for like what it means, what the team is going to do. So sometimes I'll get like on Zoom, I'll just be over it. I don't feel like talking, and I'm like, oh no, like if I don't feel like it, no one's going to feel like it. So I always have to I was like, and this isn't like being fake or anything. It's like, Carlton, when you are talking to executives and studios and other producers, you always have to feel and sound excited about what you're doing, excited about the project. Always have like a sense of like gratefulness, but urgency and and contribution. But my brain is always like sound and feel excited, and people respond. That kind of lets everyone else know like this is how we vibe on this show. This is not a dump. We don't,
Because they're watching us.
Yeah, they're watching.
Like just like we were watching the ones above us. Like you watch how they talk to people. You watch things like that, and you pick up that energy and whatever it is that they do. So we have to be careful with how we present ourselves, how we talk. How comfortable and cool we get.
Yeah.
Just because
No, that's
thing.
true.
with us.
Because-
And I got a smart ass mouth, so sometimes I gotta be like, Carlton, you're the boss. Shut up. And just give them the feedback in a very non-snarky way, even though you've said it to them 3 times,
No, because your attitude and your disposition is value add. It can be value add.
Yeah.
So even if it's just coming in and just being chill, being cool, like that's adding to the environment in a positive
it
way.
sets the environment for sure.
For sure. All right. Next one is going to be staying loyal to a show that isn't promoting you. Red flag, green flag.
Ooh.
Red flags all around. All right.
What happens is, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
People, you become really good in a position and become invaluable in that position. And sometimes you can be so good at a position that you won't get promoted and you will get stuck. And also, like you said, they spend so much time with you, it gets to the point where they see you as the AP. Yeah. And everyone's comfortable with you being the AP, and they don't have to train anybody. And it's easy for them to keep you there than it is to promote you. And this has happened in my career multiple times where I had to leave to get the respect that I deserved from the work I was doing. And it, I don't take it personally because I'm more mature now and I understand why it happened. And I could be, in my position, sometimes, it's like, oh, I've worked with this person 3 times. They were a PA. I don't necessarily know if they can do the AP job.
Yeah.
But, I think it is important to move so you can grow sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you also have to open your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to speak up for yourself because it's really easy to, even when you're good at something, to get stuck in a position. And if you're not coming and like, hey, like, can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? Like, that is a big part is to, like, I will teach you, but I have so much going on. If you don't come to me and let me know that's something you want to do, I don't know to help you.
Yeah. I've had people in production, like PAs, even at my level, like come to me and talk about like wanting to be a producer. It's like, okay, have you talked to the showrunner? Have you talked, like, you know what I mean? Like not asking for anything, but just communicating that's, something that you want to do. Maybe you can sit in on something or, you know what I mean? So definitely speaking up is definitely important. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go to the next one. Red flag or green flag? Reaching out cold to a showrunner on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Yeah,
why not?
You got to
What's
open
the worst
your mouth.
thing that can happen?
Like we were just saying. Shoot your shot.
I respect
shoot your
it.
shot.
I mean, when I was shooting that this show called Small Town Setup in Atlanta for Hallmark, I'll never do this again, but I posted on Facebook, hey, looking for a story producer, and I got like hundreds of messages. But this one woman, she was like, she had all the people that she know me called me. It was like, oh, my friend, she's trying to da-da-da. And I was like, oh, she's getting on my nerves. Like, I was like, she just calling me, she DM'd me. And then the person that I hired didn't work out, and she reached out to me again. I'm like, all right, like, you got the job. Like, your resume's cool.
Come on down.
Yeah, come on down.
Come on down.
I need a quick replacement. And she did great. Like, we've done 2 shows together now, but she was, I don't recommend you, like, harassing anybody, but she was at the top of my email, at the top of my messages. I needed to replace a producer. She had just reached out. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm looking for a producer. I'm glad you reached out, and then here we are. And now we work. She ended up being really good, and we worked together on a few shows. So.
Yeah. I love that. All right, next one. Name dropping to get in rooms.
I don't do it.
I think it's a both for me.
It's a both for me too. Because now I know who to call as a reference.
The reason I say both for me is because I never lead with that with what I've done or who I've worked with, but you can't deny that when people know your pedigree, when people know who you are and what you've done, that does impact the conversation. Yeah. I don't think it should, you know what I mean? But it does. It does. So I'm not recommending leading with that, but especially as Black people, like it's okay to talk your shit sometimes and let them know who you are,
But can we talk about that?
Yes, please.
Like I think Black Hollywood, I think some of the gatekeepers and the people that are at decision-making levels respond to who your connection is more than they do if you're just like somebody from Minnesota that's saying, hi, I'm from Minnesota. It's just a part of like how people network too.
Unfortunately.
I don't know. I do feel like I don't know how to say it. I do feel like we put more value into who you're connected to sort of not validate you, but to make sure you're not full of shit, Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, you're not just saying that you're a producer because everyone says it. Mm-hmm. You actually are a producer because you produced with Leola before, and I know Leola doesn't hire people that aren't great. You know, I know Raja won't hire somebody that's not, you know.
Raja.
Shout out to Raja. So then it helps confirm, like, okay, because we as producers, we get a lot of people approaching us saying they want to do something and they don't have the skill set. So it kind of like eliminates that part of it too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, too.
Okay, let me go to, I got one more for you. Accepting the role of culture translator in the room. Red flag or green flag?
Culture translator.
Basically being the
translator.
only.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to do
don't
it,
want to,
but
but
it
you
is
got
what it is. Like,
I'm gonna be like this the whole time, but then I gotta be like,
Yeah.
who else is gonna do it?
You said this with a little bit of this.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
I mean, I
perfect.
think that's gonna happen in every room that you're in Hollywood, even if it's an all black room, because we're not all from the same. We don't always want the same thing, and sometimes even an all black team and an all black show, we're like, is this the story we want to tell? And somebody's like, yeah, my auntie is just like that, or my cousin, he went to prison, so he love after lockup is perfect for him. You know, it's you know, it's always a conversation. You know, how we represented and how our culture is presented is going to be a conversation in all the rooms.
Love it. Love it. All right, that is
Oh, that was.
red flag and green flag. All right, thank you, everybody. Y'all can put them to the side. Don't to the side. So I want to talk a little bit about, so when we think about reality TV, we think about the names and faces that we know and we love, the talent, the cast. So tell me how it is dealing with cast. Cast can be tricky, but how do you navigate those relationships with cast members? Because you spend so much time with them, you can get connected, you really form friendships with people, you know. So how do you navigate relationships
I'm
with
gonna
your
keep it
cast
a buck.
members?
There's a reason they're on TV. Most casts are crazy. It just they're either crazy or they have gotten to a certain status where they can make moves and you know, make decisions and throw their weight around and they use it. Not all cast is bad, but a lot of the majority of cast experiences are challenging. No. Oh, you need. Oh,
What you need? What you need? Need some water?
No, I thought my phone was buzzing. I didn't know
Oh,
if you could
okay.
hear it in the
No.
mic. So I was like, oh shit, it's like
Look at you being a producer. Like, sounds
I'm gonna turn it on. Put on do not disturb. What more do you need?
Cast is challenging. There's no way about it. I mean, we love them because if it wasn't for the cast and the talent, we wouldn't have jobs. And you know, there's great experiences you have, but on a regular basis, if someone would ask me like, how is it dealing with talent on a show? It's very challenging. And
Like
then,
who?
Like who? I will say, in their defense, though, there's also, especially in the black community, there's so many times that the network or production company want them to do something that is counter to their character.
Yeah.
And that's where, if we want to really talk about producing, that's where the big challenge is trying to put all these demands and requests when it comes to storytelling or characterization of somebody and making them work for all parties. Yeah. I mean, you basically have to make the creative work for you. You have to make it work for the talent. You have to make it work for the production company and the network. All different voices, all different backgrounds, all different desires. And how do you produce the talent to give you the best version of whatever that is?
They make them happy. Everybody happy.
Brandy, you're really good with talent. You really, that's one of your superpowers. How do you manage relationships with talent?
I mean, I feel like with talent, like I kind of come in, I'm not a judgmental person, you know, so I kind of accept them for who they are, what they bring to the table, their attitudes. Some are divas, some are crybabies. You know, we do something that a lot of people probably don't know is producers talk to talent all day and night. You know, like we really,
Therapist.
you know, yes, it's to a certain degree. So I think with most of the shows that I've worked on with talent, I get to know who they are. Do I need to hold?
I know. I was thinking that too.
Okay.
Hold.
See who
This is also a thing that happens in Unscripted. Sometimes if we sit at a restaurant having a conversation, and we downtown LA like right now, and the ambulance go by, you got to hold for sound. You know what I mean? Nobody want to hear no ambulances when you walking outside.
Yep. It's shocking. That's the first time this happened around here.
Yeah. Hold for sound.
So with talent, I try to just get to know them, and it's very easy because we're with each other all the time. But I just try not to be judgmental. I try to gauge, like what story are they trying to tell so I can help them tell their story. A lot of times, like, Elmore said, there's demands of having this and that. Like, there's certain things that in real life you would not do. Like, a lot of people watch the reality shows and they're like, why are they even still talking and this and that? Yeah. It's like, this is the way that it is. But it's, to me, the beauty of reality is because you have to have hard conversations that in real life you'd be like, I ain't talking to you no more. Never so again. you put two people who are at odds with each other to actually have to talk. It seems crazy to people that there's cameras around that they would forget the cameras are there, but eventually they do. And a lot of times those are when a lot of beautiful moments happen because they're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of whatever their issues are. And you see, like, you see them come together. And I feel like people don't give reality TV enough credit when it comes to the relationships and how you put a lot of women together who would never probably really be around each other if they didn't, if you didn't push them together, and then seeing the relationship blossom or go to the left or this and that. Yeah. But as far as talent management, I just try to get to know them, accept them for who they are. They get on my nerves, I let them know. They know. I'm very honest with them. I don't try to kiss their ass. I don't try to be their best friend. I don't get so close to talent where I can't be fair to this person over this person. This person might get on my nerves or do something that they should not have done or said or this and that. But at the end of the day, it's like, I just try to be myself and let them be themselves, and we go from there, which is the reason why a lot of times like producers who are really good with talent, they continue working because it's like they respect you. Mm-hmm. And one thing about women in this industry or men in this industry, they don't respect you. They ain't trying to talk to you. Yeah. It's like,
they'll even say, like, I don't want to talk to that person.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going to sit with them. I'm not going here. Yeah. But if they know that your heart is in the right place, they'll listen to you.
I think also a thing with especially seasoned talent, you get into a lot of self-producing. Because of a myriad of things, like, they've been burned by producers before, or they think they understand the game because they've been doing it so long. They don't. What the real world say, you think you know, but you have no idea. And that I've seen you guys like work through that with people who's like, I'm trying to help you, and you're not listening to me. Right. I can talk about one. I'm not going to say who. I have one cast member specifically. It's like, I'm trying to help you, and you're not giving me what I need to help you. And like, what more do you need from me? Like, I want you to look good. I want you to shine, baby. Right. Come on, help me out.
Once you say that, they're like, oh, you want me to look good? Okay, I'll go flatter. Yeah. No, I have such a different experience with talent because I'm in the post side. So most times I'm talking to talent, I don't know because I'm not on the field as much. But they look at posts as like the final sort of like frontier of making them look good. Mm-hmm. So they're always nice to me. Like, I've never had talent, like if I'm doing like an interview or anything, I've never had any of them like have any sort of like conflict or combativeness with me because they know at the end of the day, I can determine how they look on.
Yeah, like, it's a big difference being in the field and in the house. Just
exactly. Yeah. Because they be like, "Hey, we're doing pickups. Hey, what do you want me to say?" And they say it, and I'm like, "Okay, great, thank you."
She was lovely.
That was lovely.
No, oftentimes you're 100% right. Because in the field, when you talk to them every day, like you said, all their frustrations about the show, you become the punching bag for as the producer a lot of times. And if you're soft and don't hold that line, like, hey, we still got to shoot, but you're not going to talk to me like that. It can become it can become challenging.
That's exactly how you would say it too.
And the thing is, I know I joked and I was like, all talent is crazy. They're not all crazy. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who I still talk to and have friendships and relationships with. But I think you hit it on the head. For me, there's no secret sauce when it comes to talent other than being yourself. I think sharing about your life makes them feel more comfortable and like being honest, not just some bullshit. Like really let them get to know you so they know your character and then you get to know them. And I think the biggest thing is just really trying to help them tell their story. What do they want out of this? Yeah. And then if you can give them what they want while simultaneously giving the show what they want or some combination of that, that makes the best show. And it also keeps your relationship good with talent because there's going to be times where you have to push them to do things they don't want to do for the sake of the show. And honestly, it oftentimes will help their relationships. Have conversations they would have never had. Right. They would have flipped somebody off and never talked to them again. It's like, nah, y'all got to sit down. And it takes a good producer to get people to do that. And at the network level, and I think the audience, they look at reality talent as actors and puppets. And it's like, especially the network, it's like, well, they need to do that. Why can't they do that? It's like, these are real human beings putting their full life on display. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yes, not everything's 100% authentic, but a lot of it is. And they're people with feelings and they're human beings and emotions.
And they have to live with the repercussions.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That,
show
and that
rap.
is why
Exactly.
they deserve respect because they're the ones being transparent with their lives and opening it up for scrutiny with everybody online and everything. Like,
especially because now everybody can have an opinion.
Everybody.
100%.
You can share them publicly. You can tag these people and you know what I mean? Like that's a different level. That's a different level. Yeah. I get to stay where I'm at and, you know, go on about my life. Nobody knows I exist, you know?
People know.
I want to. People know that's funny. I want to talk about some BTS stuff. All right. So tell me, what's the wildest thing that has happened behind the scenes that viewers would never know about? You ain't got to say no names. You ain't got to say the show. But tell me, what's the wildest thing that had happened behind the scenes?
I got too many stories. So.
I was working on a show for a network. And our talent had a line in a Beyonce song. Okay. So we were like, why don't you just call Beyonce to like say thank you or whatever? Because they were cool, you know, at some point. And they were like, she's not gonna do this. So we faked the call with Beyonce. Just had him on the other line, like, you know, we was like, just pretend that she's like calling you because you're on her song. The song just came out, and we just want, like it to feel like she's congratulating you. So he was just like, "Hi, he said it's B." Because like, we can't say her name, but if we hear the B, then people will think he was like, it's B because his mom was right there, and it was like a quick like 30-second to a minute like call that was more about like him being congratulated by her because we were going to use that in the trailer. Did it make the show? I think it did make the show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was early days of Unscripted.
I was about to say, that sounds like real early.
That was early.
One thing I will say, like
was
in the unscripted space now, a lot of people push back on those type of manufactured moments. I think because they used to happen so much. But that's hilarious.
The execs don't like that anymore. They used to lean into authenticity. But yeah, we had him pick up the phone,
Beyonce real quick.
like a home phone, not even like a cell phone. He picked the phone up off his wall, you know.
Not off the wall.
Off the wall. What you got, Elmore?
I got too many, man. I honestly... I mean, there was a time where I was with a particular talent and we were in a closed environment where there was a lot of public, though. Okay. And this talent and their number two got into a big argument that turned into a physical altercation where the talent was choking the number two. And that's not what type of show this was. And it happened, everybody saw it, and certain people started whipping out their phones, and this was very early. I mean, everyone had a phone at the time, but this wasn't the way phones are now. There was not even really, I don't even know if Instagram was out at the time. But I remember being told that we needed to go through the crowd and get people's phones and delete the video off of their phones.
Excuse me?
to keep that from coming out.
Wow.
And so I had to go and ask people that they identified were filming.
They got you. They said he's big and black.
Yup.
Send him out there.
I would have been like, here you go, sir.
And was getting people's phones and deleting stuff off of their phone.
Wow.
No, that's wild.
That was crazy, like something that happened while we were shooting. I also have broken up several fights that have happened on shows.
Yes.
Like
Brandy has too.
I can say this show because it's on. You can look it up at YouTube. You can see me grabbing the girl. I was on a show called Hustle in Brooklyn, and. Woo! I mean, there was a lot of lead up to this moment. And I remember that morning talking to the showrunner and executives, and I was like, I don't want to do this scene. They're going to fight each other. This is not what we set out to do. I'm not trying to break up no fight. Like, I don't want to do it. They were like, it'll be fine. They're not going to fight. I'm like, I'm telling you, I was at the club when homegirl pushed other homegirl's mama. Like, it's going to be on site. I'm telling you, it's going to be on site. They was like, nah, it's not. It's good. It's good. So I did the scene. We start the scene. We get this whole game plan. Like, yo, this is how it's going to be. They're going to come talk to each other. This was in a New York City park.
And I know they was gonna fight in the park.
Public everywhere.
Was it in the Bronx?
Everywhere. New York City Park. We're there, and the two women talk. They cuss each other out. It keeps getting elevated and elevated, and I'm like, come over here to my producer. I'm like, yo, can you come over? And next thing you know, it's about to be done, and I'm like starting to breathe a sigh of relief. And the one girl starts to walk away, and the other says something, and she turns around. And she's like talking like this, and the other girl turned around so quick, her hand went like that and smacked her hat off of her head, and they just start wah, 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 wah. And then
how they do it? How they do it?
They start throwing hands, and both of us come in and we swoop them up. But then, so you got people walking their dog and shit. This was like a nice ass park, and so we start seeing cell phones come out, and then everybody's cussing and screaming. We're still holding them. They're still screaming and yelling. And the one girl grabs the other girl's purse and starts throwing her phone over the freeway. There was like, wherever we were at, the park was on the side of like
what show was
Freeway
this
Highway. Hustle in Brooklyn. You can look it up.
Oh, the Brooklyn Bridge.
And she starts throwing her shit, her phone. She like, here your tampon, throwing that shit over. Like, she's wilding, right? And
she had a moment.
One of them had, they had a history. They had a history, and they could not get in trouble with the cops.
Oh.
So I was like, yo, we gotta go. Like, Popo's on their way.
We gotta go.
We hear the sirens because people are like, there's a fight, and stuff's getting
Niggas
thrown. And I guess the cell phone hit somebody's windshield and broke the windshield. So the people on the highway called, plus the people in the park called. It was a whole thing. And I remember running with her as the cops pulled up, hiding, and like literally running through the city with her, hiding in little coffee shops while the cops are looking around for her so that she didn't catch a case, like, because she was on probation.
You looked out. That's
and
I
I
was
was
the producer.
right.
But I was pissed because
Yeah.
I was like, I knew this was gonna happen.
I told you.
And I told y'all this was gonna happen. It goes back to producing and
People listening to you.
people listening to you. But yeah, that was a crazy experience running from the cops with a castmate. So they didn't go to jail.
I love that. That's solid. All right, Brandy, what you got?
I got a lot of them, but which will I talk about?
right.
I mean, I will say that I have had to jump in between like potential fights before, but I no longer do that.
Correct.
I learned the hard way, but I would say one of the craziest would probably be a show that was not, a rah-rah type of show, where a cast member had a personality that was just very like either super happy or super mad. And from, in the back where we are, the control room where we have like, our monitors and everything, we had to get out of there by a certain time. So one of the girls wanted to have her makeup person come in, and we're like, listen, we're telling our producers on the floor, like, let them know, like, we can't do that right now, this and that. She gets upset because, she really cared about her looks and this and that, which they all do, but this is one of those situations where we had to go. Comes and busts into Video Village and is like getting into my face, showrunner, all the producers, hands in the face, bitches and this and that. And, in those particular moments, that's when you realize, like, I can make a decision right now to do what I want to do, what I would normally do, and I'm going to lose my job, and I'm going to have a bad name and this and that, or I can sit here and handle this the best way I know how. It's those situations, because it's real life, and it's real disrespect, but those are the moments where you also know that you have a lot of producers that are looking at you. Like, what are you about to do? Yeah. So then you have to try to be an example also. So then, you can't throw hands at the cast, even just because they're coming at you. You have to just kind of calm down, and you just have to be calm in those moments. But those moments happen. And you have to be very careful with how you react. And it's not easy.
Should have called one of your cousins going to run up.
I don't mean your cousin can't do nothing.
But she got to have a different last name, that's all.
She'll change her name anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes. The stories that we have behind the scenes sometimes are more interesting than the shows that we work on.
100%.
I'm telling you, the real show is behind the scenes every time.
Network execs fighting with the producers, and coming out their mouth wrong. It's just like,
because people don't understand that there is a network. Like, let's say Bravo. You have Bravo, then you have the production company that they've hired and chosen to run the show, and then that production company hires a showrunner, and they staff the show with producers in production that actually do the work. So people don't even understand, like, the different elements and different spots. Like, they'll say the network, but they're probably talking about the production company. Or they'll say the production company, but it's actually probably the network. You know what I mean? Like, people have no idea. But
and creator, too, if they're different than all those people. Then,
right. And then there's a creator, the person who probably created the show, developed the show, pitched it, got it sold. It gets real deep. All right, so this is my last question. I want y'all to talk about your legacy, the legacy that you're leaving in your lives in general, but also specifically in Unscripted. And also talk a little bit about, well, let me ask this first. Is there anybody that you guys are mentoring and helping grow in the space of unscripted TV or entertainment?
Yeah, I always have like an entry-level position, in my staff that if somebody I know that is really like passionate about unscripted or has expressed to me that they want to, just getting out of school or want to transition, I'll make sure like I train them before the role starts, especially if I know them personally, and can bring them in on an entry level, sort of trial. So a lot of the younger unscripted story producers, because I mainly focus in post, they've become story producers through like working through me as like an AP or a PA, and they've stayed in post and have worked and gone off to do their own things. I can't even book them now because they're too expensive for me. But yeah, I always try to have like it backfires on you sometimes. Sometimes that person is not ready for the work or just wanted like a vanity production gig while they were doing other things. So I always try to make sure, like, look, this is, when I put you in this role, it's for, like, because you want a career in this, just like me. Like, and if you want to head up post or story, this is what that position is for. And some people will lie and say it is. That's what they want. But I always try to, like, the roles that I don't have to get network or production company approval for, I try to bring in people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes they suck.
That's true. Brandy and Elmore have both put me on to different jobs. And, like, I do music, of course. I came out to LA for music. And so I've been able to be open with them. Like, I remember specifically, we had done our first all cast for one of the seasons of Basketball Wives that we did. And after we were wrapping out, and I got a call to sing for Beyonce, to do a session for Beyonce. And I was like, I had a scene that next day. And I'm like, Brandy. I'm like, Brandy, everything is set. We all ready to go, but help me. And she's like, if you don't go to that.
Right, you better go to Beyonce. What are you doing?
Not the
We
fake
got
one,
it. I got it. We'll
but
figure
the
it
real
out.
one.
Right. Not the fake one, not on the house phone. But and, so I want to say thank y'all for allowing me to be in these spaces, you know, and to give me a chance to actually do the work and not just say like, oh no, he really just trying to sing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't want to embarrass my people, you know, so I got to show up, make sure it's good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as mentoring, I mean, I don't feel like I have anyone that I'm like, this is my mentee. But just like Carlton was saying, I'm open to whoever comes to me and is like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'll try to help in whatever way. I'll try to teach them in whatever way. Someone helped me, so I'm just kind of open. I also naturally gravitate to people who come in hungry.
Yeah.
The ones that really are trying to grind, trying to learn. You know, they're not just doing it for just like to post and, you know, just think it's easy work, because it's not. Like, I don't like anyone to kiss my ass. It is literally like repellent to me. Like, I don't need you to tell me how great I am. I don't need you to be all up under me and bringing me, you know, drinks and this and that or whatever. I want to see you work hard. Like, action speaks louder than words for me. And when I see those are the ones normally that I pull. And I pull them in and I'm like, huh?
Keep the good ones.
Keep the good ones because, you know, I'm not going to be here forever, you know? And like you said, with like legacy, it's like, you know, my mentor, she's still thriving. She's been doing this a long time. And, you know, eventually, you know, she'll go and do something else. And, you know, she's making spaces for me. I want to make spaces for you guys because there's not enough of us in these spaces. And if we're not there, it's not going to be really anybody pulling each other in. So, but I take it serious. I take it serious, and I just really just try to be a good example. You know, I fall short. Sometimes I be acting a little off. You know, I get a little angry, but I'm not disrespectful. That's one thing that I try not to be. And I remember being a younger producer and looking at the other ones acting crazy sometimes. I'd be like, oh, I would never do that. But there are moments where you just, things happen, you know, but I like the ones that apologize. They come back, come back and say, look, my bad, this and that.
Yeah,
you know, so if I do kind of get out of character, a lot of times I will go back and be like, hey, look, are you good, this and that. But I do think that mentorship, especially within, you know, our community, it's key. Yeah. It's really key. Yeah.
So if y'all looking for a job, hit up Brandy. No, go ahead, Elmore.
I think it's important to pay it forward. I think, you know, there's a lot of people that want to be in this business, and the people that are good at their jobs and also show interest. And, you know, it's important to pay it forward and give them opportunities. I think, you know, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have an opportunity. And we've all been given so many opportunities. We've seized the moment and put in the hard work to get those opportunities. But, you know, without opportunity, you're not going to succeed and move forward. And so for me, it's really important when I staff good people. Staff people that I've worked with that have, you know, shown up for me, shown up for the show. And I try to work with those people as much as I possibly can. Because there's a lot of bad people in this industry from talent perspective or work ethic. Like, there's a lot of producers that aren't great. There's a lot of nepotism. And listen, I'm all for nepotism when the person's qualified. You know, I want to get my son a job one day. I want him to go to a school one day because of me. I want to get a job because my friend's on the show. I'm down for nepotism as long as that person's qualified. So when I meet good people that work hard on the shows that I'm on, that work hard with me, it's definitely for me to bring them up. And then, you know, that expands beyond people who look like us, but it's also important to me to get more rooms, whatever the show is, black show or not, give more opportunities to people of color, because unfortunately we get discounted often because, especially if it's not a black show. We are not even looked at often, and you know, that's not me crying. It's just a reality of what happens. So when I'm in those spaces, it's like, I need to make sure that you know, the room is diversified.
Love that. I have so many more questions, so many more things to talk about, but we are out of time. Before we go, though, I have something for you guys, for each of you. Y'all thought this was a prop, didn't you?
I did. Thank you.
This
Was that a medal?
That's
Medal of honor.
Brown from Carlton.
Brown.
Yeah, feel free. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Oh, nice. With the name on it. What?
Got a little gold on it.
I love it.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm going to be fancy when next time I'm at a coffee shop.
Thank
you.
I really
Thanks.
appreciate you
Beautiful.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Y'all are very busy people, very important people, so I appreciate y'all making some time for me,
Showrunner, don't call
for
me
us.
5 times.
Oh yeah, get to the showrunner. So just signing out here. These stories don't always make the edit, but they are very, very important. And we want to just once again thank you guys for coming. This has been powered by 3 Mile Drive. Shout out to Aura Studios for having us.
Yes.
Black owned. This is Black History Month. Black owned spaces. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and we're gonna see y'all on the next one. Peace.